Welcome back to part 4. Let's read another book that was published by a white man, and it was published in 1922. In the Heart of Bantuland by Dugald Campbell. I think we shall trace in it a word of distinctly Semitic origin, which with other Semitic words and usages proves that the Bantus were at one time in touch and influenced by the Semitic civilization. The Bemba originally come from Lubaland in the Congo, and one finds in their language and customs traces of their Luban origin. The Luba language contains many customs and words of purely Semitic extraction. Mema, their word for water. From Congoland to Nyasaland, the name of God is Lesa. This also is of purely Semitic origin and corresponds with the Jewish name for God El Shaddai. So Bene or Bena, which also means people, Bene Israel, people of Israel. Northwards live one of the greatest tribes of Central Africa, the Baluba, who are of undoubtedly Semitic origin. The name Baluba means the lost tribe, and their language and customs have many Hebrew affinities. They are named for and the idea of God, with their word for water and people, and many other words and ideas show their Semitic strain. But let's go deeper. Let's take a look at the Hutu and the Tutsi scandal. The Hutu are Bantus, and Bantus are Negroes. The Hutu have Negroid phenotypes. And let's take a look at the Tutsis. They have Cushitic phenotypes. They don't look like Bantu at all. Let's read a book by Lisa L. Malkai titled The Purity and Exile. This book was published in the early 1990s. It exposes the evil atrocities and agendas that befell upon the Hutu. Reasons for the massacre. A major cause of the massacre was unanimously seen as an attempt by the Tutsi to equalize the population on a statistical scale. Everyone in Mishama could recite the demographic configuration of Burundi's population. The Tutsi were 14%, the Hutu was 85%, and the Twa was 1%. Tutsi, it was asserted, tried to change these numbers by killing as many Hutus as possible. This was said had been the Tutsi's secret goal for a long time. The goal was to make Hutu 50% and the Tutsi 50% also. Before 1972, the population was 5,500,000. The Hutu out of that 5,500,000 had 4,900,000. The Twa had 100,000 and the Tutsi had 500,000. And more than 300,000 were killed by the Tutsi, according to the figures of United Nations and what one hears on the radio. But this is not it. If we equalize how they killed in the countryside, we count 600,000. The 300,000 were in the centers of the provinces where the priests and the foreigners saw what was happening. In the interior of the country, mothers, children, men, even babies, which were still in the belly. So there, remaining 4,300,000 Hutu out of 4,900,000 Hutu. It was said in the camp that by equalizing the population, the Tutsi would be able to claim that Burundi was a democracy while asserting this secret goal of equalization. People also agreed that there were particular categories among the Hutu which were the principal targets of the killing. We can see that Tutsis were concerned about the big numbers of the Hutu people, and this parallels to the book of Exodus. Black on black crime is nothing new, but let's get deeper. A reference was made to a complete lack of resistance from the Hutu during the massacre, and the response of the Hutu was likened to the docility of sheep being herded. When asked about a Hutu uprising, one old man retorted, "There was no war. We were like gathered sheep, like goats. These are assassinations." The Hutu docility was often described through such analogies to domestic animals. The Tutsi, he is like a shepherd who guards his herds. So it is easy for him to say, "Today I will slaughter a cow." It is easy. Or else if one has chickens, one can slaughter them. We are like herds before the Tutsi. And this next statement was pronounced on national radio by President Mikombero. He was a Hutu, a Bantu. We are the descendants of Israelites. History says so. This was seen in 1972 when President Mikombero proclaimed on the radio that we are Israelites. Our habits resemble the very same habits of the Israelites. All the Hutu who were captured to be killed, they behaved like sheep, and they did nothing but praying and singing only. This demonstrates how we resemble the Israelites. The Israelites, before attacking a country, first of all, we pray to God. We are the first Bantus who came to Africa. We are Bantus, thus Israelites. This demonstrates that we had a democracy before the Tutsi came. It was good. There was no distinctions of race. And that is from a president. He knew what he was talking about. Shout out to President Mikombero.
Well, any time that one is talking about a minimum of 150 people killed at one time, any time that one sees, as I have seen, babies whose heads have been bludgeoned, children whose heads have been beaten with clubs, a small baby girl who's been, as the doctor pointed out to me, whose genitalia had been stabbed by a bayonet, that's serious. It has been very, very brutal. I reported at the end of January on 70 people whom I went out and found dead in Butaganzwa province. And at that time, none of this had been reported. I went out and I personally photographed the bodies myself. I saw in one instance 3 small children, all of whom had been bayoneted in the neck, their mother and grandmother all thrown, their bodies thrown into a bananery, and immediately adjoining was a pigsty. The children had been thrown to die, the pigs were left to live. What we have seen here is terrible by any standard.